What's up? Do you feel lost? Like you don't know where you're going or where you want to end up or who you even are or who you maybe want to be? Well, today you're in luck. We're going to talk about how to find your way. This is the Existential Stoic podcast. I'm Danny here with my buddy Randy. What's up, Randy?
Yo, Danny.
Do you ever feel like, you don't know where you're going or you don't know your way?
Like so many times every week. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah. It's like as soon as I have an idea of where I'm going, what I'm doing, then all of a sudden I don't. So yeah, it's difficult.
It is hard. And I think my problem is too, like I have like, and sometimes I feel like I have competing ways I want to go, and it's like, I'm not sure if I can do both, so it gets very confusing and it's just
And
hard to
it's
know.
and
Yeah.
it's like, what do I actually want to do? What do I have to do to survive? Because there's
Yeah.
this whole thing about like I'm not gonna make like this whole program in the back of my mind, like I'm not gonna make it if I don't just focus on making money
Yeah.
all the time. I'm not gonna make it. Like that whole thing.
Yeah. And it's like, are you living your life? Are you doing all this? Yeah, it's very hard. So hopefully this will help people. We each have a few tips. I'm going to start. My first one is keep searching. And I think what I mean by this is like avoid the two things I think we do a lot are we get complacent and we take things for granted very quickly. And I think that's dangerous because we get stuck in routines. And before we know it, we're doing something that's not really right for us, or we're down a path that's like really heading in the wrong direction, and we don't even realize it till it's like years later. So really like keeping actively searching for what you want, you know, asking, reflecting, thinking about these types of questions that'll help you stay on your path is really important.
That's a good one. That's like seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be open. I think that was a sermon on the mount. But also, when you live the Tao, if you seek, you will find, and if you make a mistake, you'll be forgiven. But yeah,
Yeah.
in order to find what you're looking for, you have to seek it. So keep, if you haven't found it yet, keep seeking. Uh, and that goes well with what was my second one, but I'll make it my first one now, which
Nice.
is which is take your time.
Yeah.
So I used to get so frustrated when I was younger because I had these friends who knew what they were going to do from like birth. Like one kid was an incredible artist and that was just like his direction. Another kid was an amazing mountain biker and that was his direction. And I was so jealous and envious and just like it was so unfair that they knew what they were going to do and I had no freaking idea. And I got into this whole like competitive thing where I was competing with other people trying to figure out what I should do. But really, it's something where you just need to take your time. It'll reveal itself when it's supposed to, but getting into the competitive like I need to do it now plane isn't going to be helpful. So just if you don't know what your way is, that's okay. Just kind of enjoy it while you don't know because eventually you'll know it and then you'll have to do it.
Yeah, it's a really good point too. And it is hard because I remember that too. When you're younger and you see people that seem to know exactly what they want, like, if it's actually what they want, good for them. And, they're really lucky that they know themselves so well or that they figured it out. And a lot of times it's a talent or something that they haven't have, so that works out well. But, yeah, I think for the rest of us who don't do that, like, I mean, I know like uh, so many different things I could have possibly done when I was younger because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And there's a lot of things I liked. And it's really hard to measure yourself against others because you're at like a different point in your lives, almost, even if you're the same age. So it's like you got to give yourself that time. And I like what you said, where like, it will reveal itself. Eventually, like you'll figure out who you are and you'll have a clear path and it'll be great then. So
Mm-hmm.
just giving yourself that time and realizing it takes time is really important. It's a good one. That goes really, really well. My second one, which is spend time on yourself. I think, you know, I mean, I know I did this in the past where like, I used to go to work and never spent really any time though, like actually asking myself questions like, what do I want? What are my goals? What skills do I want to develop? Or, no real like personal time. Like I did work, I did stuff like that. And I think actually carving out time in your day to journal, to meditate, to do things that are actually for your benefit is really important and can help you so much in both understanding yourself and also understanding where you need to go.
Yeah, that's a great one. Uh, Kind of goes well with my next one, which is journal. Now, this is
Nice.
something that I find it particularly helpful because it just helps dissect what's going on better than thinking about it. Like I notice I can think about something and try and figure it out, but it's not long before I get distracted and then on to the next thing and whatever. But if I journal, it helps me stay with that thought and dissect it a lot more. Like today there was something where I was thinking about it and I was like, nah, I need to journal about this because I had I basically felt guilty because I stopped reading a book I didn't enjoy. Like I was making myself read it even though I didn't enjoy it. And I was like, why am I feeling so guilty about not finishing this book that I don't enjoy?
Yeah, it's weird.
And so like I got to go back to like my childhood and all this stuff where I had to finish all these books that I didn't like because I thought somehow in the future would give me some benefit there in the future, which it didn't.
Yeah.
But
Nope.
and I'm like, there's nothing that's going to come of not enjoying this book and plowing through it other than just not enjoying it. So it's okay to let it go. But
Yeah.
in order to do that, in order to find my own way, I needed to write it down. I needed to journal.
No, I think it's a really good point. Like, even it's funny, just last night I actually stopped what I was doing and journaled for a little bit because I was struggling with something. And I noticed, like, for myself, if I write it down, it's much easier for me not to like my imagination to go wild. And, like, and it's way more effective to kind of get things under control quickly. And it really helps because it's concrete, it's right in front of you. You can actually see it, you can go back and read it over, you can kind of work through it. It's a lot easier than just thinking about it. And I think that helps so much. But, and you're right too. Like a lot of things, like I think the book example is good because a lot of stuff we struggle with now, it's stuff from our past that we just don't realize and aren't really tuned into. So it's super helpful. Yeah, journaling is like one of the best things. I think everybody should do it at least like 10 minutes a day, or just when you need to is also helpful. It's a good one. My last one is face your fears. So I think we both found this. I think, usually what we're afraid of is also probably an indication of where we should be going a lot of times, especially when it's things like, goals or tasks or doing things like with like, reorienting our lives. So I think actually facing them, leaning into them can really help you also figure out, both like where you want to go, but also why are you afraid of it? And even further than that too, I think like facing your fears of like death or like of like being alone, all of that can also help you understand yourself better and what in your life is kind of getting in the way of you being on the right path.
Mm, yeah, that's a good one. Because it's funny when you look back on it, because you look back on times when you faced your fears and you're like, yeah, it's not scary anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was so easy. But in before you face it, it's terrifying. And there is even stuff that I have to face nowadays, like finding a new accountant that is just like, it's just like, ah, oh, now I need to do that again. And it's like, I just need to face it, but it's hard to face it because there's all that fear, like, oh, if I don't find somebody, or if they're the wrong person, or oh, what all this stuff.
Yeah, it's annoying, right? It's also like annoyances like that, like things like that I think can be really difficult to do for some reason.
I know, and I just get into this whole thing where I'm like, stupid government and taxes. What? But if they
That's
didn't
the
have
problem.
taxes, then I wouldn't have to have an accountant. Yeah, all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, my last one for how to find your way is figure out what you would do if you were rich already. Because really, I mean, people in America have a fixation, like a fetish with money and power that comes from money and fame. But it's like we want all of that stuff for some reason because it'll make our life better. But what happens when you get that? Take a look at people who have that stuff. Justin Bieber, severely depressed. Elon Musk, like mental disorders. You have like all these people, Bill
Yeah.
Gates, nobody likes him. Like all these people, and they have everything that we want, but their lives are not good. And so it's like, well, if you got all this stuff that you think you need to have in order for your life to be awesome, what would you do then? Because you're still going to have 24 hours a day. You're still going to have 7 days a week, 365 and a quarter days a year. What are you going to do with your time? Because you're going to have to do something. So
Yeah.
figure that out because that's going to help you find your way.
I like that one too, because then you can just start doing it right now. Get working on it, because that's probably what you're really interested in doing. And it's a really good point too, because I think especially in the US, we fixate so much on money because like, and I mean, I get it in the sense that like, if you don't have enough, it feels like it'll solve all your problems. But really, it just makes your real problems more apparent. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
granted, you do need it because you need to survive. So it's like it's a necessary evil in a way. But like, there's also more to life. So trying to figure that out is really important, I think, as well. And understanding why that's even on your mind is the thing you really need too can be helpful.
Well, the crazy thing is that a lot the whole American capitalism thing came after World War II, where they had all this military industrial complex and they needed to figure out what to do with it after the war. So
Yeah,
we're like, how can we make people think that they need things that they don't actually need so that they'll buy stuff so that we can provide jobs? And so they created all of this stuff. And basically, what it comes down to is if you have food, clothing, and shelter, you have enough.
yeah,
Everything else is just the pudding, the whatever, I don't know, the stuff on top. Everything else
yeah.
is the whatever on top.
It's
But
extra.
like food, clothing, and shelter, you have that, and pretty much, if you're living a middle class life, you have enough. There are things that you're marketed to that you think you need that'll make your life better, but it's not going to. It'll do it temporarily for a little bit, but then you'll just have another thing.
Yeah. And it's like it's really funny. There was that one story, not to go on too long with that. I remember in the Start from Zero book we read where the one kid was talking about like he was making like I think he was making a couple hundred grand a year on his own business, and he said like he didn't want to make anymore because that works perfect for him. It didn't take a lot of effort, and like he was doing other stuff. Like he was focused on other stuff, not the money, instead of just fixating on that. Because I think so many people get caught up in just the making money that that's they think the whole goal of life. Like they'll win if they have more, and you just get caught in the cycle that I think doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you have it. Hopefully that helps before we make this a super long fix, right? Um, how to find your way. This is the Existential Stoic podcast. Please check us out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Like, share, subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Even leave a review. Also, in the show notes and in the description, there is a link to a survey. If you guys have time, we'd like to create something. Hopefully, it'll help you out. And if you complete the survey, you will get it for free. So if you have a few minutes, please take time, check out that link. Um, until then, though, later.
Later, Danny.